As we can already see in our project, by default, links don't look very good. They have an underline section, which we can see just here, and also in the header section. We may need to zoom in though. So this underline is something which we want to remove. Also, by default, the colors are not very attractive. So let's start by removing this underline from the links. We can do this if we go over to our CSS, and then just under the list items, let's add the A tag. To remove this, we can set the text decoration to be a value of none. Then over to the browser, this should now remove the default links from the header section and also from the titles too. So this takes care of the underline, but we still need to change the text color of the links too, both for these products and also the header and footer section down at the bottom. We could do this by adding individual classes to each item and setting the individual CSS color properties. Or we can go ahead and do something a little simpler. First, I'm going to go over to the body section and set the default text color with the color property by setting an RGB value of 49 for the red, for the green 46, and 46 for the blue too. So I'll give that a save, and if we go over to the browser and refresh, we'll now see a slightly lighter grey color. So back to the links. If we go over to the A section, rather than setting a value such as an RGB or hex color, I'm going to go ahead and set the color to be inherit and give that a save. The inherit keyword specifies that a property should inherit its value from the parent element. The product links will inherit this color from the body section, and also the header and footer links will inherit the color value from this section here. So let's see how this looks over in the browser. Okay, good. So now we have the header links, the white color. We can see the products have this darker gray color, which matches the body. And then down at the bottom, we have the white links for the footer area too. We can see exactly what is going on if we go inside the DevTools. So right click and inspect. And first, let's select one of our products. Over on the right hand side, if we start to scroll down, we can see we've inherited from this body section, and we've inherited the font family and also this grey color, which we added in. Click on the selector once more and then go over to the header links. And here we can see we've inherited from the header this color of white. So we can toggle this on and off and see the effect that this has. Close down the DevTools. And now with these links taken care of, I want to now move on to what is called pseudo classes. Pseudo classes are kind of like an extension to a CSS selector. For example, we can still select links with this A selector, which you already have done here. But for example, only when a mouse hovers over them, or if they have already been visited. Or we could select a list item with li, just like we've done here, but only select the third item in a list. There are quite a lot of pseudo classes available, but let's take a look at some of the most common, starting with hover. So if we go down to our A element for our links, and just below this A section, we can add a new A element. Separated by a colon, we can add the name of our pseudo class. So for this case, I'm going to use hover. So this will select all the A elements when the mouse hovers over them. And we can do something such as setting a color and add a hex value of 0E69E9. And of course, this can be any color of your choosing. And let's test this in the browser. Now if we reload and hover over any of our links, we now see this blue color which we've added. Also, this applies to the products too, and also the footer area too at the bottom. If we now go over to our product code inside of our index.html, so let's scroll up to our first product, which is just here. Here we have two sets of P elements, one for the price and then one for the description straight after. We can use a pseudo class of first of type to select the first one in this group, which will be our price. So back over to the styles.css. Just like we did with the links, we can first select our element, add a colon, and then add the name of our pseudo class, which is first of type. Then for this one, we can also set the color, and red will be fine. Over to the browser, refresh, and now we can see the first set of p elements in each section has now been set to red. In our case, this is the price. And this is repeated for all elements too. There is also last of type 2. So let's change this to be last of type. The color red is also fine. And you can probably imagine that this will select the description once we refresh, because this is the last set of p tags within this group. This also works for other elements too, such as our list items. So for example, we can change p to be li. And this will select the last list item in each group. So for example, the contact us down at the bottom, the same for the header, and also for each group in the sidebar too. Not only can we select the first or the last element, we can actually select any by using the nth of type. So if we wanted the third list item, we could use nth of type, which is nth. Then we'll add the brackets just after this. And if we wanted to target the third list item in the group, we'll add number 3. Give that a save. Over to the browser. And now our third list item in each group is now selected. And its number can be any of our choosing. So I'm just going to delete this example here. And save that and restore the project back to how it was. If we bring up the finished version of the text store, and let's add this to our second tab. If we take a look at our finished product sections here, down at the bottom we have the links of more info and also add to cart. Using these pseudo selectors, this is how we have the buttons as different styles. We add different CSS for the last of type. So let's do this over in our version. If we go back over to the CSS, this time at the bottom we can also target the button, the colon, and then last of type. So this styling will apply to the last button in each group. Let's change the background color to the blue type that we've seen before, which has a hex value of 0E69E9. And then finally a color for the button of white. Then over to the browser. And now we'll have some nicer looking links at the bottom of each product. This is a first look at pseudo classes, and you can see how useful they are for targeting certain elements depending on their state.